Okay, so yesterday I watched episodes 8 through 10 of Symphogear GX, which, means I've only got 3 left. 11, 12, and 13, I will watch them later today. I will be done with GX, and I will be 39/65ths of the way through Symphogear. So at this point, at this point, I'm what, 30? I've seen 36 of 65. What's half of 65? Like 32 and a half. So I'm halfway through the series overall. And once I'm done with these next 3 episodes, I'll be 3/5 of the way done. Overall, well, I guess I'll kind of give my overall thoughts on the show thus far when I'm in the season, when I'm actually done with the season. So, picking up from where episode 8 started, which I guess is better to say at the end of episode 7, Beaky found her dad and immediately just ran because she did not want to deal with this asshole. And given how episode 8 starts with a meeting between them, I don't blame her. So what happens is they have like a lunch meeting, and Beaky very clearly does not want to be there. She's very uncomfortable, very quiet, not like really looking at him, and he does not seem to notice. So his whole thing, he's like, "Hey, so like a few months ago, maybe it was like a year. I don't remember how long it's been in between the end of season 1 and the start of season 3. I think it's been a few months. Like, yeah, I saw this girl on the TV. They were talking about like the whole moon thing. Now she saved everybody, and I was thinking, hey, that kind of looks like you. That kind of looks like my kid." And then I started thinking, just like about my family and about my wife and all that, and thinking that I kind of want to start over. I want to see if I can fix this. So, here I am. Oh, do you think you talk to your mom for me? And then Beaky just gets up. I don't even think she said anything. She just like got up, grabbed her shit, and started walking. And he's like, wait, hold on. I'm really short on cash. Could you pay for this? Thank you. And I just felt so disgusted. like looking at it in the lens most favorable to him, it could genuinely be he saw someone that reminded him of his daughter, and he thought to himself, I fucked up all those years ago, which I don't know how many years. I'm going to say like 3. Like, I fucked up. I abandoned my family when they needed me most. Oh, he also says, he's like, all the shit going on, like, I just couldn't deal with it emotionally. I couldn't deal with it mentally, so I did. He's like, man, like, again, looking at most favorable, he's like, I abandoned them when they needed me most. I was not a good husband. I was not a good father. I was a weak and cowardly man. Which, when we see him abandon those kids, we know he still is. But like most favorable, he'd be like, I know I fucked up. I know I succumbed to my own weakness. But I want to try to make things right. If you will have me, if you will give me a second chance, I want to make up for that lost time, and I know I really ever can't, but I want to do my best. Please. There is something sympathetic there. However, I'm not looking at this in the light most sympathetic to him. And it really comes down to that scene with the kids earlier, because immediately what you see is a selfish asshole not willing to take any responsibility. And when he's talking to Beaky, who is very clearly uncomfortable and is just very cavalier, nonchalant, he doesn't even like really ask, like, how are you? Like, I know I fucked up, but like, what did you go through during that time? I'm so sorry. Like, he never apologizes. It's like in his head, it's already been forgiven. He's like, yeah, like I could deal with it, but hey, I mean, you guys made it through, so say hi to your mom for me. Like, he's fucking Biff Tannen. And it reminds me of a quote. I remember having a conversation with Jose about this quote. The quote is, as you may or may not be aware of it, if you don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. I remember Jose's like, I hate that quote because to me it's so toxic. Like when you say, if you don't love me at my worst, to him, it's like when you're being like super rude, when you're being really mean-spirited. He's like, if you're like, hey, if you don't love me when I'm a gaslighting prick, then you don't deserve me when I'm not. Like that's what it means to him. And that's not how I personally see it. To me, what it's always meant is, if you don't love me at my worst, it means when you don't love me at my weakest. Like when I'm not successful, when I'm not wealthy, when I'm struggling physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, like when I am at my lowest point, if you had the opportunity to be there for me and love me and support me, but you chose not to, then when I've made it out of that, and I'm better, I'm successful, like physically I'm good, mentally, emotionally I'm good, financially I'm good, now that I'm in a point where like I am healthy again, and it's more acceptable to love me, now you choose it, that's when you don't deserve me. This is what this felt like. Felt like he thought he still deserved, like, he deserved the chance to love them again, and Beaky said no because of when you left. You did not love me or my mom or grandma, which I'm assuming is her mom's mom, not her dad's mom. Like, you did not love us at our worst. You don't deserve us at our best. And it also kind of comes across as, he saw this girl on the TV, he was like, hey, that looks like my daughter. Maybe my daughter's like the savior of the world now. You know, maybe things would be a lot better with them. You know, like, I'm kind of broke, but maybe her mom's not doing so bad financially. I mean, maybe my kid's not doing so well, or like so bad financially. We might be going up in the world. All we gotta do is go back home. I mean, they miss me anyways. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm fucking me. Like, that's the vibe it gives off. And it's so just disgusting. And just seeing, and it's, you have to remember that this is Hibiki fucking Tachibana. This is an all-loving hero. This is a character whose signature move, well, okay, her signature move is punching things really fucking hard, is in the middle of combat saying, hey guys, why don't we talk? I don't want to fight. I could kick everyone's asses here with like one hand tied behind my back. But I don't want to. I want us to talk. The friendship circle. That character, the character who throughout the season was like, I don't want to use my power because I don't want to hurt people. That person is looking at you with abject disgust. She was literally dealing with someone a few episodes ago, and yeah, like literally, like it actually was 2 episodes ago, who was trying to blow up and dissect the planet and destroy it, and was coming to that person with empathy. She looks at you with disgust. That's how you know you're a slime ball. You are an awful dreck of a human being. And her just getting up and not wanting to talk to him, and then later in the episode, like, he gives her a call, she just ignores it, puts her phone down, and like, he's been blowing up her phone, and I think at that point she just turned it off. Her not giving him the time of day is so satisfying. And it really does, it's like, if this was anyone else, it would be like, okay, like, yeah, you do what you gotta do. But coming from Beaky, it's really satisfying. But it also is like, this person hurt her. For her to act like this, like, you're getting what you deserve, but this isn't what she deserves. Like, I feel so bad for her. And like, watching Miku watch this too, she's like, you deserve so much better. Like, you deserve to be loved. You deserve to have a good relationship with your father. He doesn't deserve that kind of, like, you deserve something. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that, like, I found him. It was an accident. Are you good? No, I'm not. But thank you for asking. Thank you for it's like the fact that everyone can tell that I'm not okay makes me feel a little bit better. But she is just very clearly not okay. Like, I don't even, in these 3 episodes, she did not fight anybody. Which, granted, was she still hospitalized? Actually, yeah, I think she has still been, I mean, she wasn't actively in the hospital, but she just has not been in action the last few episodes, which, oh boy, the next time she is, she might be working through some shit, which what happened a few episodes ago, and it wasn't exactly a good thing. Or maybe that did happen later in this. I don't super remember. No, yeah, I think that actually is what happened. Like, she got really pissed off, and then Mika showed up and was doing some, like, work business. Biki is fighting her with Akka and Suku at her side, and that's right, because, like, she's actively not fighting very well. Like, she's not fighting smart. She has two people with her, but she's not really fighting in unison. It's essentially her just trying to work through all of her unchecked aggression and feelings with her dad while beating the shit out of Noise. And everyone else is like, oh, okay, this is a fucking problem. That's right. Like, she was in action. I think it's the next two where she just wasn't doing anything. Which, we found out what the photo sector is that Mom had. It's essentially a map of the planet and all its ley lines, which the auto scorers get. They're like, cool, so, we got our targets. We know what we're doing. And then later, Mika shows up again. She fights Akka and Suku. Which, there's a part... Oh yeah, so that... I'm pretty sure when they first fought Mika, like, Biki was not in a good place. Then Akka and Suku were getting mad at each other. I don't super remember why. I think it was like Suku blocked an attack, and then Akka's like, why did you do that? Like, I was fine. Essentially came down to neither of them wants to be a burden. Akka being saved by Suku is like, I'm a burden even to her. Also, the one person I want to see be safe is putting herself in danger because of me. This makes me upset. And then Suku just seeing Akka kind of being mad at her and not appreciating it. She's like, I mean, what the fuck, dude? And they're just getting kind of pissy with each other, and it wasn't super entertaining. But there is a part later which is pretty funny, where I think Akka's like, do you have something you want to say to me? Like, are you going to apologize to me already? And then Suku's like, what the fuck? Like, I thought you were going to apologize to me. And not in like it was actually kind of a fun way, though. It wasn't like I deserve an apology. Well, I'm not going to apologize to you apologize. It was like, it was more of a, why the fuck are we fighting? Like, are you going to say sorry? Am I going to say sorry? Dude, I was waiting for you to say sorry. Like, I wasn't sure what the fuck we were doing. It was pretty fun. Then Mika shows up, and Mika's just a ton of fun. I think Gary is my favorite of the auto scores. Mika is second. I love her design. I love how crazy she is. I love the weird, like, paw claw shit she's got going on. She is just having the time of her life fighting these two and trolling them. But, you know, like, they take some linker. I think they took a little bit more, and then they, Sorry, brain fucking stopped. Wait. When did that happen? Yeah, okay. Sorry, I just remembered, like, something really big that happened, and I couldn't remember if it was something I neglected to talk about or just hadn't talked about yet. Haven't talked about it yet, because it's the end of the next episode, and I was fucking giddy when it happened. But they ignite, they fight her, and there was a part that I thought was really cool, was the way they killed her. So, Akka does her, like, scythe chain thing, which I think is actually a really cool, really useful attack. Just binds Mika in chains, which Mika also kind of transformed. Like, her whole body just turned this, like, flaming, like, orange. I was like, that's actually really cool. I don't think Gary had a transformation. And in the next episode where they fight Farrah didn't have a transformation either. It's like, okay, this was just a Mika thing, but fuck, this is cool. Where she gets, like, tied up by the chains, and then Suku's in the Mr. Garrison wheel flying, and then Akka's just fucking surfing on her scythe, and then they just run her over simultaneously. Like, and that was fucking cool. That was a metal way to kill a character. I really liked that. Was there anything else in episode 8? Oh yeah, I think the, like, giant stand thing showed up again. It didn't really do much with it. It's just like, just a quick reminder, this is here. Yeah, that was basically it. And then it was like the very end of the episode, Carol came back. It was like another Carol was born for all intents and purposes, which was like getting into the start of episode 8, they kind of explain it. She had backup bodies. This was her last one. All of her memories from the past life are in this body, which I guess gives her shit to burn, also lets her know what she's doing. And then she specifically starts kind of having like these headaches or these moments where she just kind of pauses or blacks out for a few seconds. And she specifically says, like, yeah, my body has the memory of it dying. Specifically the fact that I did commit suicide. Like, I got out of the situation and I woke up here. And the fact that I killed myself and I remember it, my body is now, like, rejecting me. That I actually thought was super interesting, just conceptually. The idea of, like, yeah, like, I have multiple bodies, I have multiple vessels, and yeah, I just transfer memories between them. But they can reject me. Specifically because, in a sense, I rejected my last body. I'm like, that's a really fucking cool idea. It also shows that Elf9 is not working for them. However, Carol can just hijack her. Like, she can just look through her eyes, listen through her ears, etc., etc. So, you've got a spy in your midst, but the spy doesn't know they're a spy. Which the main crew ends up finding out in episode 8. It was episode 8 or 9, I don't actually remember which. But they end up finding it out, and they're like, you're our homie, it doesn't fucking matter. Power of friendship and shit. Which, it's Symphogear, of course it is. The plan, if I remember it, was we have to destroy we have to destroy a bunch of shrines, which is something they have been doing, because that will open up the ley lines. And we also need to go to the Dragon Palace underwater, which is like, okay, that's like classic Japanese like folklore, because we got some shit to do. It's like this magical device that will help control all technology or some shit. It was basically like a super MacGuffin. So crew splits up. Beaky is not being deployed. Chris, Akka, and Suku go to the Dragon Palace and just kind of put a big pin in them because they don't really do anything much in episode 9. This is mostly about Subs and Maria, which I will go ahead and say, I thought Subs and Chris was going to be the pairing, but it seems more that it's Subs and Maria, which fine with, but like, alright, I guess we're doing this instead. So they go to see Subs' dad, who, he's the head of like a big family. I'm not exactly sure if he does have an important government position. He is Genjuro's brother, and does not have a good relationship with his daughter. You know, it's very terse, it's very blunt. There is a line where he says, it's something along the lines of, or she's like, Dad, like, I've come home, like, to see you and shit. And he's like, well, I mean, the family's been doing just fine without you. Like, damn, that was ice cold. Holy shit. So what she says, like, because she talks to Maria, like, okay, this is why I think my dad hates me. So, grandfather was the heir of the family. And when they talk about, like, grandfather being the heir of the family, like, he had to choose between this kid or this kid, so we picked a third option and everything. I was like, oh god, I really can't escape Seagats. Like, this is not a one-to-one by any means. It's like, I'm getting Umineko vibes. I'm getting fucking Kenzo vibes listening to this shit. That's not a good sign. But she's like, okay, like, yeah, it was either he was going to choose my dad to be the heir of the family, or he was going to choose Uncle Genjuro to be the head of the family. And instead, he chose me. Like, this, she was either a baby at the time or she wasn't born yet. And she's like, I never really figured it out. But at one point, it just kind of hit me. Like, this is probably what happened. Given the fact that Grandpa picked me, the fact that my dad is super cold to me. He's literally said before that, like, you're not my child. I'm pretty sure Grandpa didn't find either of them worthy, so he made his own heir, and that was me, with my mom. And so he impregnated my mom, who was married to my dad, and that's why my dad doesn't like me. And I was really like, oh, I hate this. This is icky. Now, I am assuming that Grandpa is related to her, is her dad's dad and not her mom's dad, so it's not, like, super icky, but it's still very icky. It's like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And then you get to the end of the episode, and it's, they don't really talk about if that is true or not, but they say, no, your dad loves you very much. Look at your room. And then Subs, like, looks at her room, and it's this big fucking mess. It looks like it hasn't been touched in years, but Maria's like, here's what you didn't notice, idiot. It's spotlessly clean. Yeah, your shit is everywhere. It's exactly as you left it. Because it's been preserved exactly as you left it. So if you ever wanted to come home, you would have a place to call home. It's like, but he's always really dismissive of me. It's because he doesn't want you shackled to this life of the family. He wants you to be able to go and live your dreams and sing your songs. Why don't you understand this? And she's like, Dad, is that true? Of course it's true. I love you. Go do your dreams and shit. And it's sweet and it's wonderful. Meanwhile, they're fighting Farah. So Farah, I'm not exactly sure, just say Farah, is the name of the Wind Sword Lady. So they fight her. So Gary's thing, which is like water and ice, cool. Mika, just fire, cool. Farah has a fucking noble phantasm, because it's not just like I have an element or I have a weapon, it's my weapon does some really specific bullshit. Like, I am the sword breaker. And it's not just, my thing is specifically designed to destroy swords. Like, what I do is anything that, like, I touch that has the, like, designation as a sword, I break it and I destroy it. I'm like, that does deadass just sound like a noble phantasm. I don't know if there's a specific one that does that, but some fate shit where it's like, I was known as the sword breaker in my life. Like, this weapon broke a bunch of swords, so anything that is considered a sword, I just fuck it up. Like, what the fuck? Why do we have noble phantasms now? I'm not opposed to this. I just wasn't expecting it. But also, that's some bullshit, subs. You got a bad fucking matchup. And yes, because throughout the throughout her entire character, that's been Subasa's thing. I am a sword. I am the sword of the government. I'm the sword of my father. Blah, 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 blah. So she can't beat Farah. By the end of the episode, after having that conversation with her dad, she's able to overpower it. Farah's like, I'm the sword breaker. You're a sword. You're using swords. What the fuck? Why can't I break you anymore? Like, these aren't my swords. These are my wings. And then they just start, like, catching fire, and it's fucking cool. And at one point, she just starts spinning and makes this giant wheel of flame. Like, it's fucking cool. And then Farah gets fucked up and she gets killed. So, and then we get to the end of the episode where it is, because I think there's a couple scenes where it shows Chris and Akka and Suku in the Dragon Palace. But they're there. They find Carol and Lear? I'm really not sure how to pronounce it. They find the coin lady, who is like, she is Earth. It was either in this episode or the start of the next one where she actually starts actively earthbending. At one point, she gets a bunch of coins together and then turns them into a pair of tonfa. Like, that's fucking cool. Like, that is a very slick way to create your weapon, and I just have a soft spot for tonfa. Like, that did it for me. They fight for a little bit. Chris sends a big fucking rocket to hit Carol, and then gets blocked. It does not get blocked by Carol, who, because of the body rejection, is really not at full power. It does not get blocked by Lear. It gets blocked by fucking Dr. Vare. And I was not expecting to see him again. Definitely not this. I was like, maybe in like season 5, like, and everyone is here. So I'm like, no, he's already back with his fucking Nephilim arm, and he's so happy to be here, and I'm so happy he was here. Like I was saying earlier, there's some shit that happened that made me giddy, and it was seeing this asshole again. It was wonderful. So essentially, the next episode is Chris having to kill one of the auto scores. It's her dealing with her shit, which was essentially these two kids, Akka and Suku. They are my juniors. They are my kohai. I am their senpai. They need to be able to look up to me. They need to be able to rely on me, which means I need to be a badass. So she kind of goes a little too hard. Not really concerned, like, not really thinking about anything else. She's just like, I gotta do this, almost shoots one of them, and then they're like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? So her, wanting to be the reliable one, is like, well, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why were you there? Like, shut up, let me do my thing. Like, I gotta be strong for them, they gotta be able to rely on me, so I gotta be an asshole for a second, which I thought this was kind of dumb, I'm gonna be honest. This is not a trope I super cared for. But, like, some shit happens, blah, blah, blah. The three of them team up, they keep following Vare, Carol, and Coin Lady. Find them, fight them. They do, like, a cool combo move and kill them, which led to, like, a really fucking cool big explosion. I liked it a lot. I think essentially it was, I don't actually remember what Akka and Suku did, but they kind of trapped her in a room. Chris sent a giant rocket to blow her up. And then they closed the room right as the rocket hit, so, like, they were not caught in the massive explosion. It was like, oh, it was a cool combo move. And then Chris was like, oh, okay. So I can be reliable, but I still have to, like, even if I'm the reliable senpai, I can still rely on my friends. Like, haven't we kind of gone through this? Not necessarily the be a reliable senpai part, but it's like, I can be strong but still rely on people. Like, wasn't that kind of your arc in a sense in season 1? Like, this is kind of an extension of it, but like, I feel like we've covered this already. Like, the shit with Tsubasa and like, I'm not a sword, these are my wings, like, that was actually different. Beaky and her dad, this is very new. It was like, I don't know, Chris, it feels like we're treading old material here, but I still got to see giant Chris rockets, and I just fucking love that. I just love the big ass unga bunga shit. They also did talk about what the autoscorer's plan officially is. So yes, they are all trying to die. Essentially what they were trying to do, because I don't think I've brought this up before, because I don't remember what the name of the sword is. Part of Carol's plan is involving this super relic. It's like this cursed sword, which has this like helix kind of design to it. I think it's really fucking cool. What we are trying to do is use this. This is like the final component of our plan. The problem is we need a specific song to get it to work. We don't know what the song is. But one of y'all probably does. So what we are doing is we are fighting you, getting you to sing, so we can hear your songs. And then we want you to be as strong as possible, so you keep singing, and you activate all your crazy shit, so I can hear all the songs that you have. And then you're going to kill me. And when I die, all of the memories I have are going to go into, I guess, the memory tank. Into the, what was the Geist? I can't remember the name of the philosopher. I don't think it was Kierkegaard. There was one, like, famous German philosopher who, it's like on the tip of my tongue. I don't think it was Nietzsche either. Fuck, I don't remember who it was. But, like, I think one of their things was, like, they believed in the Geist, which was, like, the, like, approximation of all human knowledge, all shared human knowledges. Like, we all have access to it. I don't know if it's quite the shit from, what's it called? Paranoia Agent, thank you. Because, like, a main theme in Paranoia Agent is, like, how humanity in general is affecting reality. And, like, if everyone believes in something, it starts to become true and it can materialize. I still haven't seen the second season of Inspector. I should at some point. But I really like the first season, and the first season dealt with that a lot. It's like what creates some of these monsters is people believing in them. And the more people believe in its abilities and its appearance, the stronger it becomes. Or it's like the more real it becomes, and thus kind of the stronger it becomes. I just thought of something else that kind of does that too. But I 100% lost it. Essentially, it feels like kind of like that. Or like I'm definitely getting sidetracked because I'm not exactly sure what the Geist is, but it almost feels like you're going into the memory tank, which to me just kind of reminded me of the concept of the Geist. Regardless, you kill us, our memories go in there, so we have all of your songs. And our hope is one of y'all is going to know the thing that activates the super sword. So thanks for the fact that you keep killing us, because you're giving us exactly what we want. Big shocker, they are actually all planning to die. And then at the very end of the episode, this big-ass monster shows up, so that's the enemy stand thing that I've seen. I don't really know what it is. I don't know if they explained it and I missed it, or if they just haven't quite explained it yet. I'm assuming it's kind of their, like, final thing, and they need the sword to, like, get it completely under control, or to get it to work. I guess we'll see. Was there anything else I really needed to bring up in these episodes? Let me check. Oh yeah, we did get a cool sword dive kick again, like the giant sword dive kick. Again, that's one of my favorites. I don't think I saw the handstand spin, though. But I did see Farah doing some Taz shit where she was, like, riding inside a tornado. That was pretty cool. Oh, yeah, the thing that lets them control all machines. So, this giant monster might actually be a machine, which is probably why they wanted the thing that could control it, and they broke that. And Carol did kind of have a reaction of, oh, fuck, I really didn't want that thing to break, so that could be very potentially important. So it might not be the sword that they needed. The sword probably helps, so, like, they needed this to control the robot. Oh, yeah, there's also when Chris is fighting the coin lady, where she just shoots a bunch of missiles at her, and then each one is just deflected by a coin, and they all just keep blowing it. That was really cool to watch. I like that exchange quite a bit. Oh yeah, and the robot just looks like a big mummy, because I just have big mummy written down, like big monkey. Yeah, that was basically it. So these were I liked these 3 episodes a lot. I've been really enjoying the stuff with Beaky and her dad. I think the shit with Subs and her dad was really good too. Some cool set pieces. I do think the last 2 auto... I can't even say that, because like I still like the other 2 auto scripts. I actually like the coin lady a lot, because just the shit she does is really cool. She's just not as expressive as Gary or Mika. I think Farrah's easily my least favorite of the 4, but I mean, she's still pretty cool. But 3 episodes down, 3 episodes left, and then we will be done with season 3.